What's the secret to dominating your market if you are in the distribution, manufacturing, or professional service industries? It's business intelligence and predictive analytics. Unfortunately, 50 to 80% of business intelligence and analytic projects fail, and companies spend huge amounts of money with little to show for their investment. Companies like Amazon, Apple, Google, Facebook, and Netflix are top in their markets because they have analytic leaders making them data-driven organizations. Now, Heather Cole, a business analytics advisor, the #1 best-selling author of Business Intelligence Bullseye, creates analytic leaders and socializes their nerds. Now, in a moment, you're going to meet Heather Cole, who has implemented hundreds of business intelligence solutions that have contributed billions to the bottom line. All right, welcome, Heather. It's great to have you here.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, so you meet an executive. They bring you in. They want to implement business analytics. They want to do it fast, and maybe they've tried, they failed, and they bring you in. What do you do?
Well, first, I kind of ask them, how long are you going to keep this up, right? I mean, they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. They keep buying additional software. Many companies, they'll buy something, they'll fail. So it's the software, of course. And what we find is that they're spending so much money. I say, how long are you going to keep doing the same thing? Clearly not working. So we coach them that, if they're buying software at maybe a minimum of $100,000, $100,000 from consulting at least, plus their team's time, and more importantly, the lost opportunity, right? So we start to do the numbers analysis, and then we tell them that really business analytics involves people, processes, tools, and data. But the problem is they're focusing on all the wrong thing. I mean, you have to focus on the people. If we don't have proper communication, it's going to break down.
All right, so what is it that you do that's unique that you haven't seen anywhere else and your customers say about you, either behind your back or to your face?
So I do focus on the people. And first, I've learned that I need to focus on the executives themselves. So they're setting up their IT people to fail, and they don't even know it. So here's how this goes. An IT person gets funding for a BI project, but they're never told the strategic goals and direction of the company. How are they to know where they're going to go and where to deliver business intelligence without knowing the direction of the company? So we get the executives to become analytic leaders, and then we socialize their nerds.
All right, and that's really funny. So, so why don't you tell us a little story about a typical CFO that you work with who has a big challenge, and then they bring you in, and you've got to give them the speech about socializing the nerds and teaching and training the executive team.
Yeah, I think one that comes to mind is Mark, completely frustrated CFO, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on software and implementation. And when I met with him, I said, I feel like you're frustrated. What's going on? And he goes, I don't even have a dashboard to drive my business. And so I kind of asked him what he was looking for. But then I met with his IT team that was supposed to deliver this. They didn't even know that Mark was looking for a dashboard. And they said, we've delivered a ton of dashboards. He just doesn't use them. So what we had is a major miscommunication. And so I got Mark to agree to sit down for a half-day workshop with his team. We taught Mark how to communicate his vision for analytics and data. And then we taught his BI team how to discover those requirements, prioritize them, and the results were amazing. The team was able to put the data together, deliver the dashboard that Mark loved in 60 days. But the real big effect was the company had 2 bidders. 2 years later, actually 18 months later, they had 2 bidders and sold for $1.3 billion in cash. I'm pretty sure that Mark's sitting on a beach somewhere drinking a margarita.
It's a great story. It's a great story. So now you mentioned social skill training, socializing the nerds. Again, that comes up as a recurring theme here. But you also have a little bit of your own backstory about how you got into this business. I think it's worth telling.
Yeah, I am. I am a socialized nerd. I've been reformed. I literally grew up in a software company where my parents had a software company, and I studied computer science and finance. And literally for my 16th birthday, what every girl wants, books on Turbo Pascal is what my dad gave me.
That's so great.
I kind of realized that I had to get out of my shell and get socialized and a lot of personal development later.
I love it. I love it. And one of the things that I know you talked about was James, who lacked the social skills. So tell that story.
So
I think that ties
James
into
is actually one of our stereotypical introverted IT people, right? And so James was so bad at communicating. He'd send us an email and say, hey, can you fix this? And then 2 seconds later, he'd send you a text message saying, are you going to answer me? And then he'd pick up the phone and say, is anyone working? And you're like, whoa, dude, really? So what we did is we were about to fire the company because my consultants were going to quit. And so I realized, I started to pick up the phone and call the executive that hired us. And I said, wait a minute, he's got the same problem internally.
Yeah.
So I talked to the executive. I'm like, hey, we can help this. We can socialize your nerd. He's like, I didn't know that was possible. I said, oh, yes, I can do this. So what I did is I put him through the program and we taught him how to communicate in both email and verbally as well.
With words too. Apparently that's possible.
And you know what the trick was? Teaching him active listening skills was the hardest part. But here's the awesome part about it. So you have to practice this stuff 24/7, right? That's what we teach. And he did it so well that his wife thought he was having an affair because he's actively listening, right? And so she kind of said, what's going on? And he fessed up that he was working with me. And she said, next time she's in our area, I want to make her dinner. So fun results there.
So you're training husbands and nerds simultaneously.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of times they're one and the same, right?
Yeah, totally.
Actually, they're not much different than some of the executives, right? And yes, executives, we're all kind of the same.
All right. Yeah, it's true. All right. So you've made some big money moves for your clients. So why don't you tell another big money story?
Yeah, so, we have this client that was actually recommended to us by IBM, the software salesperson. And they were really struggling with business intelligence. They'd build dashboards, but the executives wouldn't use them. And they were feeling frustrated and just, in that rut. And what they did is they came to our workshop under the recommendation. We taught them our framework, where we call it MacGyver, where we teach them how to discover those requirements, define the dashboard, and roll it out to their end users. And in our workshop, they were so excited when they left. Their feet weren't even touching the ground. They just wanted to get back and deliver this. And what they realized as they did their return on investment analysis that we teach them how to do, that this dashboard would save the company and help make it $1.2 million a year. But here's the great thing. That was recurring revenue. It was based on information that they couldn't get before. And so everyone on the team actually got promoted.
All right. Nice. It's very, very good. And the fact that it's recurring,
huge.
I imagine you get called back occasionally by this organization.
Yeah, but the beauty is we teach them the framework that we developed, our business intelligence framework.
So they don't even need you anymore.
So we teach them how to do it, and they can keep finding other opportunities to save another $1 million.
That's a high quality problem to have. All right. So you've got your system, your methodology, your framework. You've obviously made your clients millions, not hundreds of millions of dollars at this point. But let's talk just a little bit about what else that you can do for an organization, because you've got some other tools and resources that you're able to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have the whole business intelligence bullseye format, right? But within that, we have a lot of components. One of the big challenges is that people are not looking working for their special forces team. So we teach them in a program that we have as a special forces assessment team. We also have the MacGyver framework, right? And that's how they get rapid results. Literally we had one client 60 days, they delivered it, pretty much saving them 30% of normal implementation costs. We also have our rapid requirements discovery process that can be used really for any IT project.
Right, very, very cool. So how do people find out more about you? You're giving away your book. They can hire you both as a trainer, they can hire you as a keynote speaker. You can do rapid implementation inside an organization and take advantage of the tools that you've developed as well. Where do they go?
Absolutely. So they can go to heatherized.com/bonus. There they can sign up. They'll give me their information and we'll give them a free copy of the book. And they can find the information on how to do keynotes there as well.
All right, fantastic. Well, the next step's really easy. And it's time for you to get Heatherized too. You've met her. You know she's going to make a big difference in your organization. Head on over to heatherized.com.